My school got shot up, but I am the only one who remembers it. There was always something strange about my classmate, Leo. He was always quiet and kept to himself, pretty much fitting the school shooter stereotype. I wish we could have become closer friends, because maybe this horrifying situation might have been avoided. In middle school, Leo was the emo kid who made dark jokes every 4 seconds. In those years, most of the kids were the same, but Leo was on a whole different level, except, he literally got beaten to a pulp every other day. The sad part is that nobody ever helped him. The few times I tried to report what was happening, the teachers told me they'd look into it and nothing ever happened. I even went to the principal when it got especially bad, and he just brushed it off as boys will be boys. Yeah, like literally psychologically traumatizing a boy for 3+ years of his life can constitute as boys just being boys. I remember the first time he tried to unalive himself. Apparently he'd been planning it for months and brought a rope to school with him on the excuse that it was for a project. When I saw him leave with his backpack for the bathroom, I got a bad feeling and asked if I could go too. I was the one to talk this kid down from unaliving himself on a railing right outside the school's bathroom. And sadly, I can't say it was my last time doing so. He tried 3 more times throughout his middle school career, and I tried to tell people, I tried to let people know, but nothing came of it. It was as if nobody cared for him in the slightest. Maybe that's why he did what he did. I remember on the first day of school after summer break, he gave me a grin in the hall. This was odd. He looked better. Happy even. I found out later that he'd gone to therapy throughout the summer, had been working out, and taking antidepressants, but none of those proved to work in the long run, in my opinion. But I remember later, seeing that same depressed, dejected expression plastered on his face later on after having curdled milk poured into his backpack and his hoodie. I had tried to go over and help him clean it, but he gave me a weak smile and told me not to worry about it. That morning, he'd texted me that we didn't have school that day. I had been confused, seeing as he hadn't texted me in over a year. He preferred to talk face to face or, rather, not at all. And asked my mom, who was a teacher at the elementary school down the road. She told me that yes, there was school, and that I was going. Damn. I texted back what my mom told me, but he just left me on red. That was probably the gravest mistake I'd ever made. He wasn't in Mr. Wayne's first period. I was confused at first, seeing as I'd told him that school was being held today and that he had to be there for the test, but figured he just didn't want to come and stayed home to study for an extra day. I sat down and resigned myself to my fate of flunking this test, but I never got that far. Halfway through the Pledge of Allegiance, the office lady with the most boring voice imaginable stopped talking with a small gasp. We heard the rustling of movement in the background, and then a concealed pop. There was a cry of pain, or fear, or both, and then another 3 shots, then a thump, ragged gurgling breathing coming in through the loudspeaker. We, the overtired, overworked and pessimistic high school students that we were, chuckled at what we thought was just a stupid joke designed to scare us. It was October after all. But after a few more moments and a few more shots and a few more screams that just had to be fake, we heard the faintest last breath tinged voice of the woman over the loudspeaker one last time. Active, shooter, code, red. My teacher stopped flipping through the textbook and looked up at the loudspeaker as if the woman were laying right in front of us, heaving her last breaths in such utter pain and agony and still finding it in herself to warn the rest of the school. To say that pandemonium broke out would be an understatement. Mr. Wayne quickly turned off the lights and shoved us all into the corner of the room. We sat there, huddled, while people texted their parents goodbye. I was no different. I said my prayers and told my mom I loved her. My dad didn't respond. He must have been at work or something. How nice for him. I put my phone in my hoodie the minute I heard a pop from outside our door, and I closed my eyes as if it would make it all go away. Girls were crying beside me and the other guys in my class were freaking out, low-key. But the moment I heard the door to the classroom beside us being kicked in and the screams of students cut off by gunshots, an eerie calm washed over me and I stood up, pushing the desk to blockade the door. A couple of other guys and Mr. Wayne caught on and helped me out, retreating back to our spot when we finished. The boot falls thumped nearer to our door with each slow, agonizing second. The door handle shook as the shooter tried to use the conventional way of getting in, but after that proved fruitless he started trying to kick his way in, like he did the last room. A girl a couple of feet away from me sobbed about how she didn't want to die and one of them peed her pants. A couple of kids had their phones out, recording. I thought to do the same, for evidence, and pulled out my phone. After a couple seconds of kicking, I heard a frustrated yell outside of the door. It sounded so familiar, and then the gun clacked against the window, the eye through the scope aiming directly next to me and the trigger was pulled. The bullet flew past me, skimming my ear and lodging in the forehead of a guy Chris, I think his name was, blood pooling all around his girlfriend's legs. I remember looking through the door's window as the scope came down off the guy's face and meeting Leo's eyes. Everything was so numb, I couldn't even feel the blood in my ear. His expression darkened when he saw me and he took one more shot, one that would hit the girl who'd peed her pants in the arm, and ran to the next classroom. I was frozen. I didn't know how to move. And yet, my camera stayed in place, having caught every single moment of the boy's death in his girlfriend's arms, of this girl's agony having gotten shot in the arm, and all of my utter fear the moment I saw Leo. Later, as we were being led outside by the SWAT teams, I took a look around, peering into the classrooms out of sheer morbid curiosity. I regretted looking. It was an absolute massacre. Teachers, students, dead in a place where they should be safe, less than a year after Stoneman Douglas, which was just 20 minutes away. My parents stood outside, holding each other and looking desperately, tearfully, for me, their son, to come out, dead or alive. seeing that look of pure relief on their faces the moment they saw me. Me, both mine and the boy's blood all over my clothes, my hands bruised and scratched from moving the desks, my eyes wild and scared, made me want to cry. But I just couldn't, nothing would come out. After, I got asked questions by the cops. What do you recall? I gave them my video. Do you have any injuries? Pointed to my ear and they got it patched up easily. Did you know the shooter? Yes. Who were they? Leo. That night was spent mostly at the police station, but my parents got me out of there in time for them to take me home and make me dinner. I couldn't eat it. The metallic smell of blood and urine and sweat and primal fear still lingered in my nose and on my skin and in my mind, so I told them that I wasn't hungry and that I needed to shower. The news said that there were 32 casualties. 32 kids, teachers, killed. They detained Leo and had him in custody. He would be awaiting trial for a little while at least. After eating a meager dinner of half a piece of fish and water, I said I wanted to go to bed at around 11 o'clock. Seeing as I was one to stay up for as late as I humanly could, my parents were concerned, well, more concerned than they already were, but put it up to the shock. I went to bed with tears in my eyes and fell into a fitful sleep, plagued with dreams of death. The next morning is where things get odd. Well, odder. The next morning, my alarm went off as usual. I went to silence it, as there definitely wouldn't be school today with everything that had happened and rolled over, but my mom came in. You're gonna be late for school, get up. I looked up at her with confusion. I wondered why she was making me get up, and wondered for a moment if everything was just a bad dream. But then I brushed my hand across my ear and winced, looking down at my raw palms. Nope, definitely not a dream. Not wanting to look weird though, I got up and got dressed as normal. I couldn't shake the feeling, though, that I just couldn't be at school. I couldn't be there. The blood that stained the walls, the corpses had to still be here. It was a crime scene for Pete's sake. But even so, my mom drove me to school and dropped me off, kissing me on the cheek like everything was normal. I walked slowly into Wayne's classroom, looking around fearfully. Kids were sat down working on whatever was on the board, and it looked like a full house of students save for one. The guy who'd been killed yesterday, Chris, wasn't there. It's not like he had an empty seat, but more so that he didn't have a seat at all. I saw Leo sitting in his usual desk right next to me and he looked up, his eyes full of knowing. I hoped he didn't know I knew too. The girl who'd gotten shot in the arm yesterday now looked good as new, smiling at me with a faint blush covering her cheeks. Do you happen to know where Chris is? She got confused at this. Chris? We don't have a Chris in our class. You must be thinking of something else. Sorry. This caught me off guard. I looked back and Leo saw the fear in my eyes. He said coldly, you know, don't you?